Okay, we're back in Latrobe Cemetery for part 2. Just catching up with where we were last time. If you found these to be of any interest, please like, subscribe and comment. Okay, this is where we finished off part 1, to the memory of Mary Jane Collard. After 30 years of close union and happy married life, a loving mother and a good true wife. And again we've got the cast iron with the fleur-de-lis, the imitation of turned wood but in cast iron corners, in loving memory of my dear husband Thomas C. Taylor. You've got the male and female hands clasped at the top, but she never made it to the same plot, or if she did, she's not marked on the gravestone, so who knows what happened there. This grave is for John Dalting, 1923, as a 69-year-old, and behind him, across the way a little bit, are the newer style for cremations. Might have a closer look when we get over there, but they're very recent, so I don't want to interfere on anyone's feelings or memories. Another memorial affected by movement over time. Looks like C.A. Mansfield, but no other information. Obviously something missing from the top, probably a cross. A few more markerless graves, and who knows what's been going on there. We're moving forward in time through this little section. A lot less of the cast iron, just the one over there that you can see over yonder, but the rest are straightforward, more your standardised stone and concrete and whatnot, all with the same sort of basic pattern surrounding the plots. But we'll have a look, see if there's anything interesting. This is for James Gorman, subtitled A Faithful Priest, 1927 he passed, and you can see that there's still artificial flowers being added to his site. We have Clara and George Bramich, husband and wife and husband. She bundled off in 35 as a 70-year-old, and he 2 years later as a 72-year-old. You can see that we're starting to head into the 20th century now. So that's why there's a sameness to these. There seem to be an egalitarianism attached to graveyards from the 30s. It's the site for the cremations, with some parrots out the front still bringing life. There they go. This is the unutilised side. Each one of those alcoves will be a container for ashes, and then a plaque goes over the top. Now then, we have a couple of Sisters of Mercy here, an Irish order that for my sins and theirs we came in contact with each other for the first 3 years of my education. Not these nuns, but at St Bridget's, funnily enough. This was Mother Mary Aloysius Martin, who died in 1899, and Sister Mary Agnes Byrne, who died in 1938. Very simple little marker, as one would expect. And next to them is Mother Mary de Sales Dooley, fine Irish name, died in 1932. Sometimes when a headstone comes down we get lucky and it gets preserved. And this is for Thomas Lee and Michael Lee. Thomas is a 38-year-old in 1910, and Michael Lee is an 84-year-old in 1914. but still preserved headstone, very nice. More of the cast iron with the spear points rather than the fleur-de-lis, and a nice iron cross, but no names. Another one with the fleur-de-lis, but again no names. Quite impressive amount of ironwork in this cemetery. Okay, this is for Henry Shaw, who died on the 21st of January 1912. On the eastern face, facing the sun in the morning. Another Henry, and Kate, wife of Henry Shaw, who died in 1928 as a 75-year-old. On the northern face, I don't know if you can see that, that's Private John G. Shaw, son of the above, who gave his life at Gallipoli on August the 7th, 1915, aged 25. There's nothing like these older graves to remind us how important modern medicine is. So this is in loving memory of James Arnold, son of James and Kate Lowry, who died the 14th of April as a 14-year-old. And then James himself at 69, and Mabel, who died in 1885, aged 3 months. Elsie, who died in 1894 as an 8-year-old. And Kate Lowry, wife of the above, who died in 1934, aged 72. This one's a bit different. It has a funeral urn on the top. Nice circular column. It's in loving memory of my dear husband, Daniel James Conran, I think, who died in October 1908 as a 41-year-old. And no one else here with him. Okay, there's a lot not said here. Agnes, not sure what the surname is. August 26, 1902, aged 34 years. Also Llewellyn and John, infant sons of the above. There's so much not said there. Now this one would have been quite impressive in its day. You can see it's got quite a few layers of stonework as well as the cast iron, but the headstone is almost impossible to read. Hopefully not everyone died young. That's Martin Collins in 1896 as an 88-year-old. And Mary, what's that, 11 days later as a 78-year-old. Couldn't live without him. Nice, relatively simple piece. This is in loving memory of Mary, beloved wife of Isaac, who died in 1898 as a 68-year-old. And then Isaac lived on to 93, passing in 1914. This is an odd one. Donovan Patrick, born County Cork in brackets, England, 1849, accidentally drowned at Latrobe in 1859. And Mary, born in London, 1878, passed away in 1897, aged 19. County Cork, England. Not sure about that one. We're back in the 1800s again, the 1890s to be specific. And this is in loving memory of my dear daughter Mary Jane, wife of James Bryan, who died in October the 26th, I think that is, in 1892, aged 37, and their infant baby. May their souls rest in peace. I suspect that that's another one of those deaths in childbirth. Quite an ornate and impressive piece of marble, this one. It's in loving memory of my dear wife Kate. April 1918, devoted to God, her husband and children. Interesting. Anyway, erected by her sorrowing husband, Captain L. Falkland, late Indian Army, and children. There you go. Empire. Okay, you don't know what effect the war had on a lot of people, but there are a lot of them that didn't live past the 1920s. So this is William Watson, who met his death on Soldiers' Settlement, Whiteford Hills, on the 21st of May 1922, aged 34, and who served as a sergeant in the AIF. RIP, lest we forget. I have here a sizable obelisk with a cross on top, Celtic cross by the look of it. With some wrought iron, cast iron work around the bottom, and at least two faces with memorials on. So let's go and have a look. Appears to be for the Dooleys. James, who passed away on the 5th of February 1891 as a 70-year-old, and his good lady wife Alice on the 17th of August 1887 as a 59-year-old. And then off to the southern side, this would appear to be their children. George, who passed away in 1888 as a 26-year-old. Mary Ann in 1861 as a 13-year-old. And Rose in 1914 as a 65-year-old. On the north face, we have James Joseph Dooley, who died in 1910 as a 53-year-old. William in 1928 as a 74-year-old. Hannah Mary Dooley, knee council. Relict, that means widow in an archaic form, in 1933 as a 73-year-old. Some nice subtle carving on the stone here, which is sacred to the memory of Margaret Bremich, wife of Joseph Bremich, passed in 1883. This stone's standing up really well. And Martha Murray, youngest daughter of the above, and beloved wife of the late Captain John Murray, 1905 as a 46-year-old. There's untold stories in there. This is another unusually shaped headstone, but still in good nick. For the 1880s, it's to the memory of Bridget, the beloved wife of James Herrick, who died January the 15th, 1883 maybe. He's a 44-year-old. But that stone's in really good condition. Sitting quietly all on his own is William Bannon, late of Longford. Don't know whether that's Longford town or somewhere in County Longford. 1904, so born in 1824 or thereabouts. Oh, we reach back a long way in cemeteries. And with William Bannon, we'll call it stumps for today. That's the end of part 2. There's another older section, judging by the cast iron and whatnot, a little bit further down that we'll incorporate into part 3 from Latrobe General Cemetery.